Welcome to Let's Play Rule the Waves 2 as France, starting in 1920. This is episode number 24, and we are in May 1934 with a whole new war on our hands. Italy has joined the USA, no doubt thinking this is an opportune moment to grab some French territories whilst French attention is directed across the Atlantic. We, of course, are being supported by our stalwart allies in Germany, and as is normal, if irritating, in extra countries joining a war, the victory point total has been zeroed. Now, for us, that doesn't really matter because we were even Stevens anyhow. We haven't lost a whole chunk of victory points that we sometimes do. It is, however, a big opportunity to rethink our strategy. So what am I going to do in the various sea zones that we're interested in immediately? So for the Mediterranean, this seems like an opportunity to get in there with the whole fleet, or the majority of the fleet, and do some sea control, get some fleet battles done, think about invasions, and back up the existing forces in the Mediterranean by redeploying a fair chunk of the Northern Europe fleet, plus the air. Thanks to Richard Private there for mentioning that, because I was totally overlooking both the air and the invasion opportunities, this new phase of the war. Over in the US East Coast, our German allies continue to attempt to blockade the Americans, and we may nip across occasionally with our forced raid and see if we can't keep that blockade going, because it certainly does help America, particularly in things like political unrest, rather than just simple victory points. And in Northern Europe, we'll engage in a sea denial, fleet imbeing policy with minimal forces, just to make sure that the Americans don't try and take any liberties whilst our attention is focused on attacking the Italians. I haven't added the Caribbean because I wasn't interested before, and I'm certainly not interested now that Antilles has fallen. Now that's great, that's, what should we do with the fleet? But this war has been going on for 20 months. It could go on for another 20 months. I need to consider, if only to dismiss, what to do with other strategies. And of course, the big other strategy is get a course, raiding. So, two ones here. I can either develop a raider strategy or a submarine one. Now, if I do the raiders, I can immediately deploy 12 fast battle cruisers, heavy cruisers, light cruisers, send them out raiding. And that would be fun. And whilst I'm doing that, start building armed merchant cruisers with every ounce of French francs that I have. I had just started to build a new carrier. It was at the very first month. If I halt that, or indeed scrap it, I can build 9 armed merchant cruisers every 4 months. However, it takes another 4 months to get them to be worked up. So call it 8 months. But after 8 months, you get 9. After 12 months, because you're already building the next lot of armed merchant cruisers, you've got 18. And after 16 months, we could have 27 armed merchant cruisers, giving us a total of something like 39 raiders. If we chose a submarine strategy and built all the submarines we could possibly do, it would give us a similar number, about 43. This seems a much less useful strategy because for the first 16 months, nothing happened. Well, this fleet stuff happened. So raiders here seem to be much better value for money. You can start small, build it up. Yeah, we might not get to the full 39 because we'll take some losses along the way, but at least we'll be hitting the Americans consistently. However, I don't think that either 39 raiders or 43 submarines is a war-winning amount. Now, you could argue, well, yes, Dickie, but you could distract the Americans with raiders and use your fleet against the Italians, and that certainly has a fair bit of merit. But I would personally rather maintain my fleet and continue to build it up, rather than do this wartime thing, which is like put a pause on all new construction. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to go down a guerre de course strategy. Let me know in your comments if you think that's a good idea or not. Who knows? Here we are. I have extensively redeployed my air units to be in these Mediterranean air bases. And many of them are veteran squadrons. So that's the advantage of the considerable cost. Oh, for Marseille, I've introduced a whole new group of air squadrons. But for most of them, they're either good or veteran. And I've spent a lot of money keeping them at a high point of efficiency. So my hope is that they will be really, really effective against the Italians. We shall see. I've also, as you can see here, moved some of my older battleships and supporting forces into the Mediterranean to join the force de raid that I moved from the Eastern Atlantic. So let's push on into June and see what goodness comes. The German government is interested in buying the rights to, well, yes, by all means, you'd like to give us some money, that would be fine. Studies, blah, blah, blah. 130 and 250. So try and remember that. Dual purpose guns on destroyers is really good. I'm going to say no to all. Just rearrange that. Our flying boats have sunk 2 enemy submarines. You see, that's what I call quality airplanes. A little bit of stuff from American raiders in Northern Europe. So let's just look at ship types, air types. Their torpedo bomber had a range of 250. Of course, they don't say at what point. And a speed of 130. Ours is 115. We, however, do have... Oh, no, we don't have. We have a medium bomber in progress. So once we've done our medium bomber, we probably need to have a look at our torpedo bomber. So the new development of allowing dual-purpose guns on destroyers has got me thinking of a new design, the ARD. Who knows with French whether you pronounce the D or not. It's a development of the Harpon. I've taken the gunnery down from 5 inches, which isn't dual-purpose at the moment, down to 4, and doubled it up. So 6 4-inch guns, 8 torpedoes, as many remaining anti-aircraft as I can slip on. 34 knots with an increased ASW outfit as well. So nice, straightforward, general purpose destroyer, anti-submarine, anti-air, anti-surface, fast, nippy. What's not to love? So let's get one of those underway. So no battle last turn, but that doesn't mean nothing happened. If we go to the map, we can see, hard to see on the map, all these figures and things. And even if you use the bar charts, that is quite hard to work out. So let's go to one I've prepared. And this, I think, is easier to explain what's happened. So in the US East Coast, the Germans still have dominance, surprisingly, despite the fact that the Germans have moved the bulk of their fleet back to Northern Europe to join the residual part of the French fleet. The Americans have moved most of their fleet across to Northern Europe as well, but hopefully any battle that occurs there, we should have a dominant force. We've obviously moved our best part of our forces down to the Mediterranean, where we have rough parity with the Italians, so hopefully that should give us a qualitative advantage, although you know how the battles generator likes to even things up. So that's where we are for July. Go back and see what that's where we were for June. So let's see what July brings. It brings a fleet battle. How very exciting. So let's accept that. Well, hold that excitement. The Americans have declined. Bless them. And a convoy attack. I always enjoy convoy battles, either defending or attacking. I think particularly attacking can be great fun. So let's see if this actually happens. It's actually happening. Let's attack ships. And some Germans have joined us, despite there being no Germans in the Mediterranean. Thank you, Germany. So that's great bring that out. Down that a little bit. So we have to sink 6 ships. Well, steady on there. A whole 2 cruisers and 2 cruisers, 5 destroyers. I'm not seeing where the Germans are, actually. That was a mythical German force. So there's another cruiser and some destroyers and more cruisers somewhere. Center on. They are there. We are here. So if we can cozy up towards our support force, they are actually stronger than we are. Let's check out the time. It's daylight and we have a whole 35 minutes. I have had dusk and nighttime battles after dusk and nighttime battles. Unbelievable. So let's bring these people out of screen, into support, letting me change the formation. Unidentified gunfire. Hate that. So perhaps that's a support force, which we can do. So let's carry on until there is something we can do. Reconnaissance taking off. Nighttime coming, slightly brave of them. Whoa, where the heck are you going? Ah, right. So that's there. Who are they attacking? This little chap. You belong to. Hopefully this support for. Yes, right. So, bring that in. Okay, you can go to there. Just the speed. It's funny, not showing it. Oh, why has this got so detached from the rest of its destroyers? So I'm actually going to send it north in order to join up the rest of it. I don't know why it's decided. So we have this. It's kind of an old 1920 cruiser, whereas we have old 23 cruisers. Okay, old versus old. I suppose I can take control. And there's an American cruiser. Is that good? Yeah, 9.6 inches. Bring this back in. See if. So they've got 3 cruisers, but I'm not really interested in that too much. I'm interested in, where's the convoy? Got these wacky reports. Do any of them say that says there was a transport? And transport's down here. So I'm going to try and get underneath these ships. Obviously, bonus of the cloak of darkness to come. Dayton, 1,000 yards away. Dangerous kind of ship. I'm going to have to operate these two, the cruisers and destroyers, very tightly. Dayton is kind of presenting itself as a lone target. I mean, it's not really what I was interested in. Fearlessly closing. The Dayton has almost as many 6-inch guns as my 2 cruisers combined, certainly into broadside. 5. I have 10. He has 9. Bringing it down a little bit. Seem to be giving the Dayton a little bit of trouble. Well done, lad. And now, more importantly, we are on westerly course. Hopefully, attempt to find Dickens this convoy is. Now, this might be quite hard. I'm going to go upwards, partly because the Dayton is withdrawing, and partly because that would suggest that it's withdrawing towards Convoy. Some more escorts over there. Go to line abreast. This one? No. Oh, well, that's fun. Say hello to the Jeanne d'Arc. That's going to attack the Jeanne d'Arc. It's ours. Yeah, that is quite a French name, isn't it? Joan of Arc. Who would have thought that was a French cruise? Tish tish. So, possibly they're ours too. Ah, a transport. That's great. Now, an Italian destroyer as well. So we do have to be mindful. Hooray. Well, that was some good fortune to bump in to the convoy. And a couple of my mates. Ooh, chunk, 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 chunk. Lots. That will sort them all out. Sure about the torpedoing, but that little lot. See some others. Oops. I'm going to have to chase after my own destroyers to try and bring them back. Yes. Bring the speed down to 30. Seems to be some gunfire going down. Ah! Ah, this looks promising. Full swarm destroyers. Yep, it's the escort. Not long for this world, are you, my chap? Where are we in bases? So I'm turning away my destroyers. There are some nice juicy cruisers here. In order for my destroyers to attack the Italian cruisers, I would have to bring my cruisers back into danger. Not really what I want. Our destroyers. Right, and stay a little bit concentrated. Ah. Our friend hit by a torpedo. Us hit by 2 torpedoes, 3 torpedoes. Ah, boom. That hasn't gone well. The American cruiser. American being hit. I mean, it's just the usual, isn't it? A little bit of mini madness. Just go down here, if we can get any survivors. So, I'm a bit stuck as where to go next. I've taken more losses than I'd wished. I hope I'm going to return to base, I think. Why these two? Good idea to go the other way, away from their base. Yeah, I think that's about it. Didn't meet our objective, lost a light cruiser. Cross fingers, really, that we put more hurt onto them, courtesy of our supporting. More battling going on. No idea where that really is. Run this one out. And here's daylight. And we've, well done for our submarine. We, light damage on our armoured heavy cruiser. I didn't know we had one. We lost 2 light cruisers, one of mine, one of the support force, and 3 destroyers. They lost 1 and 5 destroyers. It's a French victory, weirdly. Or how that computes. But, yeah, okay. Close that and just have a little look. Flagships. So yeah, they were heading north eventually. Tricky one in the middle of the night with more than half of your force not under your control. And we gained a mysterious prestige point for that. Wow. A Battle of Malta. Well, I'm going to have a little think about this. Okay. I've had a bit of a think, and actually I've had to write out the pros and cons, because this is not an obvious choice. And yes, I know if I choose any of them, there's plenty of chance that the war will just carry on anyhow. So here's my thinking. So it would be good to end the war because all long wars are bad, because I sustain the cost of the war, I sustain the losses of the war, I sustain the suspension of major shipbuilding programs because of the war, and every other nation gets to have money thrust on them as if they were at war when they're not. So comparatively, I get weaker, they get stronger. And that's true of all wars. That's why short wars are the best, and this has gone on for 21 months so far. Secondly, I might get the Antilles back. No guarantees, but there's no other way that I can invade the Antilles and recapture it. So this is my only chance of getting that toehold back into the Caribbean. On reflection, I have misplayed the war. Had I sent my forced array to the Caribbean, then damage taken to my ships would have been able to be repaired because I held a base in the Antilles. Thirdly, Italian colonies. I mean, nice, but we are coming to the time when the value of colonies are going down. And, I already have a nice base in Rhodes, Eastern Mediterranean. I have bases in Tunisia in the Central Mediterranean. And of course, I have bases in the Western Mediterranean in France and North Africa. And then I would need about 12 months-ish to get a big enough victory point total to end the war with a big victory. So 12 more months of war seems a lot. Fighting on? Well, this is a historic opportunity to defeat the Italians and amass that big victory point lead. And kind of like emotionally, we've been through this together, month after month of declined battles or battles in the middle of the night, going nowhere. Finally, we've got a chance to play out some big battles. Let's take that. I mean, if they're offering peace now, why wouldn't they offer peace in a little while after we've bashed them around a little bit more? And if we have peace now, then, the next war isn't going to be until at least 1937, at least 3 years. And you know how the tension goes. Sometimes it can be 4 or 5 years before the next war. So I'm finding it a very delicate, well-balanced choice. I think logically, if I was a political leader, I would say definitely, let's end the war now. Let's cut our losses. It's even Stevens. We'll get the Antilles back, probably, cross fingers. That's the best bargain. As a game player, I'm like, no, we've just started having fun. Don't end the war now. I wish I could make this into a save point and get you guys to vote. That would be amazing. But I have to decide. Let me think. Okay. I've voted to carry on and see if we can get a few more enjoyable battles. Confidence that we will be more victorious than them and that they will offer us peace again in not too long a time. Which one do I choose? Do I go for the sort of we can manage, or do I go for the outright insult? I'm going to go for the we can carry on so that we don't exacerbate the tensions with Italy and America and they go to, unconditional surrender kind of nonsense. So let's do this one, see what happens. No common ground. So, not awful, but another breakthrough. Obviously, it helps if I show you the right screen. Sorry about that. Everyone likes lighter armor. Oh. These Italian destroyers are being quite tiresome. And we've lost our blockade. Let's go to the build screen. Let's build 6 of those. We need to move some ships back onto foreign stations out in the Empire. Bring this to a close. I'll sort that out, and then we will see what my brave decision to carry on fighting will lead to in the next episode. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and see you next time.